Okay, good afternoon everybody. I'm Dr. Rachel Rimmer-Piekarczyk and I'm a Senior Lecturer in Performance at the Manchester School of Theatre, Manchester Metropolitan University, and it's great to be here in a pre-recorded form to contribute to the International Active Learning Conference today. So this short lightning talk responds to the conference sub-theme of bringing students on board with active learning, exploring how a culture of reflective practice and dialogue within undergraduate and postgraduate performer training contexts can encourage a more active approach to learning. So performers, including dancers and performance artists more broadly, use their bodies to embody and communicate ideas, images and stories with each other and an audience. The experiential nature of performer training means that it's often presumed to be an active area of learning, yet dominant training paradigms often communicate the idea that the teacher is the master or expert who transmits pre-existing knowledge to students, which can make students appear as passive recipients of such knowledge. And furthermore, because of the emphasis on the body, performer training environments tend to privilege the physicality of the body, meaning that performers embody and execute actions, but don't always engage in reflective thinking around what they're doing with their bodies, how actions are occurring and why. In 2021, I completed my doctoral research study, which was a piece of action research investigating how critical reflection facilitated through dialogue, or what I refer to as a reflexive-dialogical approach, allowed undergraduate dance students, in this case, to exercise agency in dance training. This is not to undermine the value of embodied knowledge in a Cartesian sense, but rather to position embodied knowledge and cognitive knowledge, which would be acquired through critical reflection, alongside each other on a non-hierarchical spectrum of knowledge, as proposed by Robin Nelson. Drawing upon my current teaching practice in the area of contemporary performance, it's now useful to examine this approach in relation to active learning, exploring how it can allow performers to adopt an active, agential position within their own learning that subverts the dominant notion of the teacher as expert. And just to point out that when I'm talking about dialogue, I'm thinking about it in a holistic sense, and that it not only includes verbal dialogues, but also other forms of dialogue such as watching, listening and touching that might occur in a performer training context. Michael Prince states that active learning is generally defined as any instructional method that engages students in the learning process. In short, active learning requires students to do meaningful learning activities and to think about what they're doing. Undertaking reflective activities in partners and small groups allows student performers to think about what they are doing by establishing a dialogue with each other. Observing each other's performances and asking enquiring questions, offering feedback on specific aspects of their performances, engages learners in what Richard Ledyshewski calls engaged peer feedback. A performer's tool is the body she inhabits. She's therefore not able to see her own actions from an external position, but using studio mirrors and taking video recordings can help to develop a more well-rounded perspective. The reflexive-dialogical approach furthers this process of reflection through dialogical, engaged peer feedback with others, allowing the performer to identify any aspects of her performance that may not otherwise be visible. This approach chimes with Barbara Bassett's metaphorical mirrors, in which she offers 5 different mirrors to facilitate reflection. Specifically, Bassett describes how wing mirrors help the individual to identify blind spots, stating that feedback from others plays a vital part in helping us to identify what might be a blind spot in our practice. To summarise, allowing critical reflection and dialogue to be present in the environment of performer training facilitates active learning by putting the student at the centre of the learning experience and allowing her to identify blind spots in her performance practice through reflection and dialogue with others. And I think this is evident in the quote here from a participant from my doctoral research, who talks about that idea of peer feedback, allowing that external perspective on what the body's doing. Thank you.